All right,
We
we're
are live.
live.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Let's
Hi, everyone.
comments already.
Yes.
Oh, hi, Dragonfly Whimsy and Clevis. Hello. Should we
Hi,
wait a
everyone.
few minutes for people to join? Okay. All right, sounds good. Well, people are already waiting. Okay. This is exciting.
We
How
are
has
so
everyone's
happy.
holiday been?
We're so happy to have you here. The holidays were like crazy. I have been to Barcelona. Barcelona, I don't know how to call it, in Spanish. So many people, and that, feeling the festivities and feeling people like, that all that happiness that comes with this time. It was wonderful. It was really wonderful. I didn't want to come back.
Mine was filled with lots of family events, like nonstop, which was great. But I had a little cold for those coming in, so I'm sucking on a throat drop, just in case you're wondering what's going on. Oh, hi, Elsa. Hi, Jen. Hi, Yannick and Sagar. Hello.
Yannick, you found the channel. She was with the circle that I did just
Oh,
before we
okay.
start. Okay, so for
Okay.
today, we will be welcoming you to grandmother's house. So just prepare yourself and take this time we will have together as a loving, nurturing time, or nurturing, like you get into a cave. So just take small little breaths or full little breaths, as whatever that comes to you, and drop all what is happening during the day, what happened during this period or this time of the year. Drop. And again, breathe. And let go. And Julianne will be guiding us to grandmother's house now.
Now we'll enter into the forest. Follow the path that your heart leads you. It will take you to the cave where grandmother's house is, inside the earth, inside the great grandmother. Let us enter the cave. Let us gather together, heart to heart, grandmother to grandmother, woman to woman. Let us join in this circle to connect with the gentleness, the nurturing, the wisdom of the grandmother inside all of us.
And as you enter, you take your space, you take your place, and we close the door just behind us so that we get into that space, personal space, intimate place. And we bring in the fire at the center. Just in here, we have this small little fire, but you can put it in your imagination and give it expansion so that it warms us in this time, in this cold time. And as we close the door, going to sing a song to welcome you into this place. And as our grandmothers are present with us, also other spirit guides and spirit allies are present with us. The bear. The eagle. Oh, the plants realm. The trees realm. And many other spirit allies. Hmm. Hmm. How beautiful energies.
Wow,
Oh,
that's a beautiful opening. Thank you.
thank you for being here. So I feel that this circle came with the intentions, or that the grandmothers are giving us the direction to take. Maybe you can share about the card you got.
Yes, so I pulled a card from the Oracle Reflections, and it was the perfect card for today. It's called the Spark of Life, but it's the circle. The circle of us coming together. It's the zero card. It's like opening, welcoming, preparing for the new. But I just thought it was, how perfect we have the circle for today's circle. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I got the seaweed, which is really an interesting card. So the seaweed, when I went to look for all the description I got from this guidance according to the seaweed, they were saying that my spirit allies were talking about the seaweed as a spirit that brings us all together and brings us to the center, brings us to what is really important. And instead of being everywhere, we come back to the center. We gather all these fragments of ourselves in order to prepare, as you said, Jian, for something new that is coming. Maybe a project that is coming. Maybe we need to focus on a project or something like that. So I feel that the grandmother are preparing us for what is to come and giving us maybe an attitude or a position to take regarding these new steps we have.
And as you were just talking about the seaweed, I kind of saw the seaweed as a net, because seaweed always, comes up tangled. It's like a net gathering us together, gathering grandmothers together, the wisdom together, I want to say the mutual support of women helping each other in whatever it is we're to do as we move forward into this year, this new lifetime, it feels like.
Yes. And what comes to my mind when you talk about that is that we see things that are happening on the world as dangers to the unity, the unity of our being. Even the internet is like we are always on it and we forget who we are and what we are, and we are always somewhere else, always with someone else, always on doing something.
Right. Or we can get so many places at once. But like the word internet is a net.
Exactly.
So instead of it dispersing us in many places, we can let it connect us and bring us together.
Center.
The fine line between those two things. Are we dispersing our energy, or are we connecting and all working together?
Yeah, so true. And this is one of the wisdom they share with us today, is that it depends. It doesn't depend on the tool, but it depends on what you do with it.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, because you can have lots of tools, but it's like, yeah, what do you do with it? How do you use it? That's more important than what it is you use.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What about asking grandmothers about that? It's like, how can we gather ourselves in our daily, our daily life? Because today we did this circle and it was an inspiration and they were pushing us.
Right.
But we cannot do that all the day, every day. And, it's like, it would be really interesting to ask them, maybe, what can we do during our daily life to gather ourselves and to, get back to the center?
What can we do to gather ourselves?
Hmm.
I want to pull a card, and I have a bunch of decks out here for those watching. We can do that. I actually want to pull another card from the Oracle of Reflections.
Yes.
And I just need to let my office assistant out of the room, my dog. Okay. His name means bear. He's one of my family totem guides.
And they are here today. This is interesting.
But he's always in here. He just needed to go out right now. So yeah. And I have two decks here that are about reflection, because we're reflecting on the grandmother wisdom within ourselves. So what guidance do the grandmothers have for us to stay connected?
Something coming too. I feel some guidance coming, so maybe I can share it without looking at the card yet.
Yes, go ahead.
You were talking about that, and grandmothers were saying, you move too quick. You are too quick. Why don't you slow down?
Yes.
In your way of talking, in your way of moving? Why don't you slow down?
That is such valid advice for me right now. Such valid advice.
Yeah.
Which is something I've actually realized, just even though the holidays were really busy, it got me to slow down from work. Because I work from home, it's always there. It's always present. I'm always thinking about stuff. And even though I was working while I was away, it got me to slow down and get out of those routines. And I realize that's important right now. Yeah.
Yeah, this is interesting. And we can slow down at work, but also slow down in our way of moving. Showing me the dance, it's like they are dancing, they are moving. And when they dance, it's not like a kid that has 4 years old, that is like 4 years old, but it's like, it's really moving while respecting their own body and their own rhythm. And maybe we have to respect that, we have to get back that.
Our own rhythms.
Yes.
Natural rhythms, rather than the rhythm of what we think we need to be doing. And then we stay centered, then we connect to that nurturing energy inside of ourselves. We just need to slow down. That's beautiful. Should I do my card?
Yes. Go ahead.
It's so perfect. Well, it's the autumn card, but it's a tree. And of course, the name I chose is Grandmother Tree. But autumn is also the leaves falling. Release what is old, what is dead, what is done, so that we can connect. The autumn time, the plant prepares for winter, right? And most of the life is below in the roots and connecting to our roots. And that actually came up. I did a little sort of automatic writing exercise for my grandmother tree energy. And so I'd like to share that now because it fits really well that I pulled that card. So I just wrote, from Grandmother Tree, and it almost came out as a poem. So it says, listen to your instincts to grow, your instincts to be rooted, connect to Mother Earth, to nature, to who you are. Listen to your instincts. to stand strong, to stand proud, to stand in your power, and to hold your boundaries. Trust these instincts, honor and respect your instincts. They are part of your wisdom, a part of you. And instincts just was so strong, and that connects us to, you know, the wild woman archetype within us, the part of us that is part of nature, the most feminine, you know, mother earthy grandmother aspects of ourselves, and the roots. So when I pulled this, it was like, oh, the autumn tree, the tree, what is really alive is the roots. And so connecting to the roots that make each of us is connected to our grandmothers, you know, our ancestors, but also that energy within ourselves. Yeah.
I feel their energy just talking or sharing that message. It's really, it's like I hear her talking, you know, and I got this card that goes very well with what you are saying.
Beautiful.
Getting back to nature, getting back to, because nature can be quick, you know. For example, mushrooms, they appear in 2 days, 3 days, but at the same time they can really be slow, you know. It's like a tree takes its time to grow, a plant takes its time.
Yeah.
And taking that time to maybe be or observe nature can help us to slow down. At the same time, I feel that connection, you know, there are hands that are coming towards us, or maybe towards this circle we are creating. Um, it's like slowing down maybe helps us to create a little circle or around us.
Yeah, and slowing down, you know, the autumn tree and releasing, because often as tree or the leaves fall off the trees, they fall in a circle.
It's true.
And, you know, they take their time falling. It usually doesn't happen overnight. It's like over weeks, right? See what develops. So each of us, see what surrounds us, what connects us, what interconnects us as we slowly let what needs to fall away, fall away. And then the circle of our interconnectedness will be there. We don't have to, it's like we don't have to force it or try it. We just, I mean, this is about letting go and release, letting go of like, it's got to be this way. We're not pulling the leaves down. We just let them fall.
This is wonderful. And you know what grandmother White Feather is saying? She's talking about our organs. You know, our chest is made as a tree. Our kidneys, our brain, all the nerves are made as a tree. You know, as they are all connected. There is all this connection that goes from an organ to another, but we are the ones that cut that connection. When we cut it from the way we breathe, when we do not breathe, that means that we are cutting ourselves from that pure energy of light that can come and nourish us, nourish our cells. When we are disconnected from our belly, we eat whatever comes, and we are not aware of what is good for us or not. When we are disconnected from our hands, from our feet, where they want to go, do they want to be staying all the day in front of a computer? Do they want to stay all the day just writing on the computer or cooking? They want to touch something else. They want to be connected to something else because this is their nature. This is their pure nature, to be connected.
Like you can imagine our fingers as branches. Can't see me if I do that, so I'm doing this as branches that reach out and connect to other branches, and those connect to other branches, and those connect to other branches. We're all in, or you can just imagine your energy lines. We're all part of this web, that net. And we all have wisdom and nurturing and love and compassion to share. But when we're sitting in front of a computer all day, or we're in this world, we lose, I'll say we lose touch with that. It's still there, but we lose the feeling for it. And so just a moment each day, a few times a day, whatever, just sit and find that connection again.
This is lovely. And grandmother is speaking. She's having talk, together, and she's saying, when we connect, there is not that I want, or I need. There is just that desire of connection. And as soon as we connect, there is magic that happens, and there is mutual nurturing or mutual nourishment that happens.
It's like, because it's all one and the same. So it's not connecting to what can I get out from there or what can I pour out there. It's just connects, and it just flows. And I was going to say, when you reconnect, when you've kind of been in your headspace, or you've lost that touch, inspiration flows in, seemingly out of nowhere, but that's that connection. It just comes. Yeah.
This is wonderful. So they are, where I see from grandmothers, they have been talking about the connection and the center, but from the center we can connect and enjoy that. It's like the energy of life flows easily when we connect, just for the pleasure of connecting.
Mm-hmm. And the connection is both, let's say, the hands above ground from grandmother tree, but also through our feet, through our roots, through where we come from, through the past, not in a sense of hanging on to the past, but the history of all that is, the history of us, our ancestors, but also then the earth itself, the wisdom within the billions of years of the earth's existence, however long it's been. So we can connect both ways, up and down.
Beautiful. The circle, just before we start, we were talking about guilt, and the guilt of as a burden from ancestors. And grandmother has been there, and she's been here, and she wants to talk about freeing, in order to be connected. She's even talking about not thinking, but just doing it as something natural, because when we think too much, there is a lot of thoughts that come from our DNA, and in our DNA there is all that ancestors' baggage or ancestors' weight that comes in good or in bad. So it is really something that is common. She's even saying, do not think too much when you do this connection.
Just feel it.
Yes.
Feel the connection. You can have the thought, okay, I'm going to try to connect, but then just feel it.
Yes.
Let the thought be the grid work, and everything else fills in with the feelings. Yeah. And it's interesting, like the DNA, because to me, those are the roots that get tangled and knotted.
Yes.
And they will unravel. They'll unravel on their own as you connect.
This is beautiful. They will unravel as they connect. Beautiful. I want to see also what people are saying in the chat room.
Let me just let my office assistant back in.
The tree cards reminds me of the world card. Grandmother's wisdom, we need to listen. This is true. Hi, Cleo. Hope you are well, doing well. Thank you for being here.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of people here.
And
the world card, the world card in many decks has the world tree, and it's the branches reaching up and the roots reaching down, and to me it connects all the way around. You think it's here and down there, but it's all around.
Sometimes we say as above, so below. As inside, as outside, as in the south, as in the north, as in the west, as in the south, as in the east. And there is that idea of a whole, being a whole when we connect. It's like this circle we just made. and we make shamanic circle. It is a whole.
Yeah.
So what we think in a way as a separation again is just connecting with another facet of us, with another manifestation of this oneness
Yeah.
or holiness.
It's the weave and interwoven. It's so complicated. It's hard to describe. It's not just like a flat piece of cloth woven together. It's like multidimensional.
Like plants.
Yeah. Like
growing plants.
the seaweed looks like a big, mess when it comes on shore, but it has its own structure. Yeah, definitely. Should we pull a card from the Weaver's Oracle? Because that was part of, since weaving just came up. So I have mine. Did you want to?
No, go ahead for yours.
Okay. So the Weavers who don't know, the Weaver's Oracle, it's all sort of grandmother energies. They're all grandmothers from different cultures. I'll do a good shuffle here. I'm doing it on my lap so it's not too loud. What guidance do the Weavers have for us? Interesting. So we get Buzzard, dreamer of the longest flight. And my first thought with Buzzard was what came to mind. I know I've never pulled this one. Oh yeah, the hands. What came to mind was Tibetan sky burials, where the buzzards or whatever the vultures come down and they eat the body. It's like releasing the old, like the leaves falling from the tree. And that's the grandmother's guidance. But let's look in the book because it has a story for those who don't know. Because I feel it's significant. So I'll just read the first part, not the whole thing. So Buzzard, dreamer of the longest flight, she breaks the silver thread. So she's holding the silver thread there. Let's see if I can hold this up and read it. The ancestors always dreamed of the rocky place high above the clouds, for it was very hard to get to, and therefore sacred in their imaginations. An ancient sister dwelt there at the very edge beside a precipice, where the old world ended and something else began. The ancestors sometimes called her Voila, spirit bird. Her whole being was infused with tranquility and light, as if she wore the vision of the land upon her like a skin. Her hair was silvered and her robe was webbed with luminescent threads. She could not be more different in her nature and physical presence from her twin, a death hag who lived beside the grave mounds way below the rock, and yet their work was in almost all respects the same. The sister perched motionless and silent on the crag, watching the valley and waiting for movement, for a stirring in the air. Her great talons curled around the rugged stone. There were always buzzards wheeling up in the sky above, and herons nesting nearby on the rocky ledge. From time to time, as one life or another ebbed from the earth, the laments of bereavement and the distant echoing smash of breaking pots would reach her ears. She would open out her hands like slender pale wings, spinning, twirling, stretching out the very fine silver thread between them that hummed and vibrated with small metallic sounds. And she would sing her high quavering tone, buzzard call you back to the wild land, as she pulled the thread out even thinner. Heron fly you home, until even the rocks were thrumming and the air was oscillating with brittle energy. Meanwhile, the hag sister who resided on the other side of the thin thread would complete her task of freeing soul from body, and at last the silver twin would spy something rising up towards the rocky place. Physical death had given birth to the released spirit, which drifted now like feathered seeds on the upward breeze. The ancient sister would flex her long talons, still spinning her tight thread and waiting patiently for the precise moment when the soul drew level from her rock. Then, quick as light, she would reach out her claw and snap the fragile strands and still trailed behind the soul, freeing it from all that kept it bound to earth. She would sing the leaving song, journey to the soul of your own land, where the mothers wait for your return. and one of her great heron birds, thus summoned, would swoop in and tenderly scoop the soul onto its wing, then set off across the rocky heights on the long flight home. The silver sister would slowly bring her palms together, reeling in the fine thread as the last notes of her song hung in the air. Heron, fly you home. So definitely, yes, releasing so that we can be more, so that we can connect more, we can integrate more. And the cycle of life and death is constantly with us in many ways. And it connects us. That also connects us. Wow.
This is beautiful.
It's
Mm.
lovely. Yeah.
I brought another story. I didn't read it, but she wanted to come. Frightened one. And this is one of the books I just got before the end of the year, Vision of Albion. In a mirror, in a dank wood, lives Jenny Green Teeth. She will pull you into her domain if you do not take heed and are careless with where you wander. With long fingers, taloned with pointed fingernails, she will grab and pull you under. Stay far away from pool of green, where water hag is often seen, for she will grab and pull you in with rocking hands that are so thin. For if you tread within her home, where all trees rot in evening's gloom, then all is lost, and you must face the dark of night in death's embrace. For Jenny weaves a web of fear to catch you in her woeful weir and drag you down so you will rot where all are lost and then forgot. It's a long story, but this is where I wanted to stop. And there is something related to fear, the web of fear that we need to free.
Well, the fear of the death, the fear of endings, the fear of, the releasing. It's hard to let go of things. Even if it's just like donating old clothes, you think, oh, keep it for
What if?
something.
What if?
Yeah, what if I need that? What if I need a sweater I've never worn in 5 years, It's hard to let go. It's hard to let things die, basically. And I think it's because we don't let ourselves grieve the bereavement. Like, even if it's a sweater, like, oh, I really love that sweater long ago, just honor it. But if, you got 20 other sweaters, let it go,
Yes.
Yeah.
And even, about jobs, at the cycle just before we were talking about jobs and fearing not finding a new job or fearing not finding our new, a new way of living, a new road, creating a new road. There is that fear that comes where we face the unknown.
Right, exactly. I was going to say that the new is unknown until we've embraced it.
Yes.
But yeah, it's like a cycle of fear. Like, I don't want this to end. And then it's like, okay, you let it end. Oh, but I don't know what's coming. I don't know what to do. Or I don't want to take that step. It's different. It's new. It's unknown. It's uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. This
Right?
is interesting.
Yeah, uncomfortable. But that's where the comfort of the grandmother energy can come in. Because to me, grandmother energy is so comforting. And, grandmothers always say, you can do it, it'll be okay. You can move forward. You can move forward into that unknown. You will find those connections. Yeah.
Beautiful. And this is why they form the circle of today, because they want us to move ahead while staying in their cocoon, saying that change is part of the world. They changed, they lived, they they left,
Yeah.
but they are still here to offer that wisdom of
Yeah.
embracing change while staying centered inside and
Centered,
with that cocoon.
rooted, grounded. Yeah.
That fear of the unknown prevents us from connecting to each other's.
That's true. Well, especially because it's a very energetic thing, especially, the internet life so many of us have. It's not tangible, right? They're talking about the hands holding things. And so it's kind of unknown. It really is, because what's out there could just disappear.
Mm-hmm.
But we still need to make the connections.
Mm.
Because if we cut that off, then we wither. Then like a tree, we wither. We have no connections left.
Mm.
We need to connect to nurture ourselves, our souls, our lives. Yeah.
Mm. What about pulling maybe one last card? Because I see time passing and flying.
Oh, wow.
What about putting in one last card? If you have a question or maybe two cards.
Yeah, let's look at the comments really quick. Oh, Cleo's word for the year is release. That fits very well in. Does anyone have a question? I think there's a time delay, so I'll wait a minute. Or should we just pull a card each?
Let's ask these questions and maybe invite our invitees or invite our circle to maybe pick a card or give your inspiration regarding this question.
Okay.
Mm. So, what was your question, or did you just get a card?
I just asked what else
What
do
else?
we need to know? What else can we work with?
Yes.
And I thought allow the process, allow our roots to connect, allow our branches to connect, allow community. I'm hearing allow community. Yeah, working together. People working together more. Whether it's energetically for some, or you're actually reaching out and physically connecting, but we need to allow this. And it's like shedding the old so that we can allow the new. Well, that was like my New Beginning 2020 title, wasn't it? We need to be old to allow the new.
That's true.
That's funny. What was yours?
I got two cards, and both are really interesting. But before I got these two cards, I heard loathing. Try to loathe more. Try to have fun in this life. Try not to take life too seriously. Instead of taking like just hearing grandmother just laughing, it's like laugh. This life is so it's fun. Life is fun and it is funny. And at the same time, I got a card for me, and I see again these hands again here, and this at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes, very interesting card. These hands, we don't know if they are standing from the earth or reaching to the earth.
Right.
And I feel also that watery side that comes, and it's like dancing with the life, and it's like a fish. I see a fish here. So it's like really adapt, and while you are grounded and trying to make this connection, adapt and swim as a fish. Do not be just in one place. Just,
Right.
dance with the waters. And the other group for us as a group, the card I got is this one.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you see this woman and this transformation. It's like there is this side here.
Is it like a reflection?
It's a reflection. It's a transformation. It is, I see it as this is 2019 and this is 2020. It's like reaching the higher side or the higher aspect of us.
Yeah, and like bottom, it looks like it's breaking apart, like the leaves falling off a tree, releasing what was, take what's going to help the new grow, and it looks like a reindeer, stand proud and strong and fly, freedom.
Freedom.
To be more of ourselves as we connect more to other people and the whole planet, really.
So true. I wonder how what card or what message came for you. If you can put it in a comment. What else do we need to know? This was the question. What else do we need to know for the circle? For maybe 2020. What do we know? What do we need to know?
Yeah, did anyone pull any cards themselves?
Oh, hey, hi, Lady Knight. So happy to see you here.
I haven't really followed the chat at all, so. Yeah, I think you're getting comments before I do.
Yes, because I'm following them on the video on YouTube because I know that StreamYard is so slow.
Interesting. Okay. Hello, Lady Knight.
I didn't show the cards I am using, but you can find them on my shop. I think you just got yours.
Yes, I just got them. I got both of them.
Yarn of Mama Shamana.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. And then I actually pulled the other deck for today because it's a mirror.
Mirror of Mama Shamana.
I didn't feel called to pull the card from it, but I can. Actually, let's just pull a message. So in this deck, there's their message cards too. Let's just pull a message. Guided message for us as the circle comes to an end.
You got this is really funny. Before you mix the cards, you got the same card as I have. A beast will knock at every door.
Well, I pulled that for today too, because that's the beast is the instinct, right? The wild woman. And I thought, well, that was very important to me to hear. So the message we get is they haven't spoken human language once. So it's about connecting, not with words, with energy, with feeling. You could say with love, with understanding. And then, the phrase actions speak louder than words, that's what I'm thinking here. Our actions, how we act, even to ourselves, by ourselves, speaks greater to us in our lives energetically than the words we use. The words do, but it's the energy, how we go about moving each day. The energy of slowing down too.
This is lovely. Yeah. Grandmother is speaking to you and she is saying, you know what, we didn't speak the human language just once. We spoke it twice and 3 times and 4 times. So trust us regarding the guidance we are giving you today.
And really that grandmother energy is a feeling, right? It's, grandma giving you a big warm hug and comforting you and baking cookies or feeding you a really yummy meal and being there. And then she tells a story that goes on, and there's great wisdom in it. You realize at the end, like, it's not necessarily in her telling us anything specific, but in her actions and her energy, and then what we subtly pick up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we feel it here. We don't take it in here, right? Yeah.
Looks like they are transmitting energies to us, the energies that are needed for the next step. We just got answers from our circle here. And Dragonfly, connect with our open hearts.
Yes. Yes.
And Lady Knight of Avalon also, she says, my grandma could say everything with just one look.
Yeah.
She didn't need to say it.
Yeah, I should point out, like, when I came on before we started the live, I looked at the clock on my computer and the time was 11:22, and that's my grandmother. That was her birth date. So every time I see that time, I know she is present. So I just happened to look at the clock right then. Yeah, and her energy is very strong.
Hmm.
And she didn't have to say anything. Not at all.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all connecting with feeling, which is hard if, we talked about if you're thinking too much.
Mm.
So just feel it. Yeah.
I wonder, Julian, if you got this message too. It's like they are teaching us another way to communicate and to connect, not just with words, but
Yeah.
with it's like with our other abilities.
Yeah. To me, those are our, back to instincts, our instinctual, they're not necessarily like intuitive psychic, but our instinctual abilities to feel. I mean, it's feelings. It's translating those feelings to understand what does that mean for me, and what guidance am I getting, or what inspiration am I getting, or what message am I getting. Yeah, it's instinctual.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Let's pull one last card before we close the circle. I want to maybe explore this side of what is our new way to connect. What is our new way to connect with that instinct, and let it guide us through this connection? Choose the way to formulate or to ask this question to your cards. What is our new way to connect? Mm. Oh, hi.
Oh, hi, Kasia.
Joining us. You joined us for this question. How are we going to communicate or to connect in the future? What is the new ways to connect?
Should I go first?
Go. Yes.
Okay. So I used the goddess deck. It's old goddess guidance cards. This is the card.
Mm.
And it's Themis. So it's written on the back. I'll hold it up and read. Let me get that on screen. So Themis is one of the oldest and most revered of the Greek goddesses. The daughter of Gaia, the earth goddess. Thema is the mother of the three fates who determine the destiny of all mortals and gods. Shown here as the giver of dreams, she once was consulted at Delphi as the bestower of oracles. Themis is prophecy incarnate. Her oracles derive from her sense of order and connection to nature. In later Greek mythology, transferred to Mount Olympus, she personified the social order of law and custom, a reminder that social order is ultimately dependent on the natural order of the earth. Themis is grounded, earthly goddess who is also comfortable moving through and shifting through the shifting mantic world of dreams. She is deep wisdom, familiar with both the depths of earth and the heights of the sky, a guide to the soul. And what do we need to do? I want to get the sense of order. Order. So it may practically be about organizing our days, our lives, to connect to the earth, to connect to the sky. That's the branches up and the branches below. Organizing, order, structure. Yeah. That helps us connect more to Mother Earth. I mean, she's a grandmother, right? One of the oldest goddesses, to connect to all of that. So a practical message, like a daily practice, a weekly practice.
And I got that dream and oracle.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
maybe it can be a way to communicate. It's like maybe we need to communicate or to connect to higher beings or through the energy of grandmothers today. We are with them.
Like a daily
Through
ritual.
dream. Yes, daily ritual or a nighty ritual.
Your dreams.
Through dreams that come too.
Or even
Beautiful.
like a journal. Like
Journal, yes.
before going to bed. And often that will get that energy into the dream. And journaling about, just talking to grandmother energy or a specific goddess or just the universe out there, journaling out what, asking what guidance you need or whatever it might be before going to bed. And then thinking about that as you go to sleep. That's one way to sort of trigger the dream world. It doesn't always work, but you practice it. And that's a good way to do it, to connect, understand, to get more guidance each day or each week, how to connect to all the energy out there, to everyone out there.
It's really interesting. I've been thinking a lot about this dream work too, because I think you know that we will have a workshop with Carmen about dream work.
Yeah.
But I have been working with dreams for many years, and I feel like the more you work with dreams, the more you get into words behind behind all what we know, and your word starts to be bigger and wider, and your vision starts really to take many dimensions at the same time. And also to communicate. I communicate with my physical past way grandmothers and grandparents. They come visit me sometimes, and it's a wonderful way to communicate through images and sensations. But from the cards, I got some cards that are interesting. I got this one.
Oh,
Yeah, it's interesting, and I felt like a retreat, like going on a retreat or taking time away.
I was going to say a house in the forest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Being away from the busy world sometimes. And there we can get some butterflies that can come, and we can see them because we are not that much busy,
Right. And it is those quiet times away, whether it's like you go on the retreat somewhere or you just get like a day or an afternoon, that, those transformative, those butterfly ideas and thoughts and realizations come in that then can transform your life. But when we're so busy and we don't have that organized time away, like we struggle for that. And we're like, seek it out in more things that keep us busy rather than slowing down and stepping away to reconnect.
Yeah, this is wonderful. Grandmothers are really wonderful. Do you believe in structure? When you believe in structure, you believe also in letting go of things and making priorities for your next steps. But we need to let go of some things. We need to accept the fact that sometimes we cannot do everything at the same time. We need to put maybe some things aside for a moment or maybe forever. And it's okay.
Understanding
it's really okay.
the cycles of things that come into our lives, even ideas. Because some stay and some aren't meant to stay because maybe they're to inspire something else. Accepting everything has cycles, that's going back to our buzzard grandmother here. Everything has cycles. And if we don't let the things that are dying or moving out of our lives, we don't let that release, it cannot become the food for the new. And so then we energetically get stuck. Yeah. The dead feeds the earth is dead plants and animals.
Mm-hmm.
The earth is death, but the earth is the nourishment that gives plants life, that feeds everything else, right? So we have to let things die for there to be new life and new things and transformation. Otherwise, stagnation is the true death.
Yes.
Not what we think of as death.
Stagnation is the truth death.
Yeah.
Um,
Nothing happens.
Speaking about fish and fluidity, this was the next card. And again, that dance with the fluidity. And it's like a violin, but over water. And I have this desire to maybe invite people to put their lost ideas in this fire so it can be transmuted, and maybe it will birth a new idea or new project. In the fire, in our fire today, the big fire that is bigger than this one,
In the center of our
in the center.
circle.
Yes, let's put our lost ideas that we couldn't finish, that maybe we cannot finish anymore, that maybe do not speak to us. We need to go beyond all these ideas to embrace the unknown and see what new ideas will emerge. As in this experience, there is nothing lost and nothing gained, but just experiencing this life. I feel it, I really feel it, this fire taking away all this lost guilt also. And see this fire transmuting and changing them. Maybe into a form, maybe into a fish, maybe a butterfly, maybe smoke of a certain color. You can even put the version of you that you thought you were and couldn't really be till now. Just be free to be who you are from now on. Grandmothers do not really worry too much about the others. They have lived what they have to live. I will just enjoy the time left. They are free. So be free to embrace your new version 2020.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
All right, so we will put this to close. So we will be closing, and then Juliana, Juliana. I was in Spain. I will call you Juliana. And then Juliana will invite us again out from the circle of the cave through the forest.
Thank you for joining us in this circle. Though we all go our own ways, we are still connected.
So now you're out of the cave. You go through the forest. So you can go back to your place in your house. You can see, okay, there is a house, there is windows, there's your phone just behind. Okay, everything is all right.
Life is still around us.
Thank you for being here. Thank you, Julianne, for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone who joined us.
Grandmothers. All right, so see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.